All right, back inside the Pirate Radio Zoom room, brought to you by Sailor Warehouse, your local U.S. Sailor authorized agent, and White Claw hard seltzer. Nothing tastes quite like it. Here
Listen,
today with the big fella Garrett McGhin, former ECU lineman. Garrett, how you doing, man?
doing very well, Cliff. How about yourself? How many White Claws are they giving you for saying that?
I don't have any currently, but we got some in the fridge. So next time you're in Greenville, come by the studio.
All right, I
We'll,
need some black cherries.
we'll grab a claw together. How about that?
Sounds good.
Garrett, you've already brightened my day. You've already put a smile on my face. That's what Garrett McGhin does. Let's talk about what you're up to now. And it's been a whirlwind for you since leaving ECU. Bills, Panthers, Bills, Jags. I believe that's the order. But tell us what you're up to now. And if there's any GMs out there listening, check out my boy Garrett McGhin. Right?
Yeah, for real. It's definitely, like you said, it's been a whirlwind. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm definitely still blessed to be in the position I'm in. Unfortunately, my tenure at the Jaguars did not last very long. I got cut on final cut days. So since then, I've been at home, got a couple workouts with some teams, been doing a lot of workouts on my own, and just trying to get my foot back in the door somewhere. COVID's made everything really tough without those preseason games. And, borderline guys like me, it's hard to show a lot of different teams what you're worth if you don't have those preseason games. But, rolling with the punches, life's going to knock you down. It's all about how you respond. And I'm just controlling what I can control, working really hard, just trying to make my family proud, make Pirate Nation proud. So I'm going to get another shot, and I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, you're definitely making a lot of people proud, Garrett. No doubt about that. The Gardner Minshew story still boggles my mind. I mean, he's a backup here at East Carolina, goes on to Washington State, does what he does. And now not only is he a productive player, but he's got like his own brand. Like he's got the Minshew Mania Colts out there. Colts, I should say. What do you, I mean, how do you explain this, Garrett, the Gardner Minshew story?
It's a long time coming. The guy, ever since I've known him at ECU, he's been just a super hard worker, and just has kind of always had the deck stacked against him. My apologies. And just kind of was really, even when he was the starter at ECU, he kind of still had his back against the wall. Everybody knew as soon as you mess up, somebody else was going to go in with the whole Thomas Search stuff. So
Yeah.
It's hard to play confident and play up to your standards when you're always constantly looking over your shoulder. And then when he went to Washington State, won that job, and Leach was like basically giving the keys to the bus, we saw what happened. And it's the same thing in Jacksonville. When he went to Jacksonville, wasn't the starter, but then once he got his shot, he knew, hey, it's my time to go. Let's go. He wasn't constantly looking over his shoulder, wondering what's going to happen next. We see what happens. But the guy is one of the most genuine, hardworking guys I've ever been around in my entire life. He pushes me, and he does it in a respectful manner, but he'll tell you straight up. Like when I went through some stuff this year, I know a lot of people know, lost my father this year, and kind of got off the railings a little bit. And that guy, he was like, all right, Garrett, like, it's okay to be sad. But as soon as he saw that I was starting to go in the wrong direction, he was like, hey, let's go. You can't keep doing that stuff. So he's a great friend. He's a brother, and I wish him all the happiness and success in the world. And I'm always going to be in his corner. And when we were in Jacksonville together, it was amazing. It felt just like ECU days. It was one of my best friends, and he'll probably be a groomsman in my wedding. That's for sure. Not one of them. I'm only getting married once. He'll be in that thing.
Slip up there. The one and only wedding.
The one and only. I'm not doing that thing twice.
G-Mac, I want to ask you about some of the guys you played with at ECU that are still on the roster. Before we get there, though, Mike Houston has talked about this year with COVID, the O-line is going to have to learn multiple positions. They're going to have to be able to adapt and do different things. That's right out of,
I wonder what that's like.
Right out of the Garrett McGhin playbook right there. So I've always wondered about that, Garrett. Does that stunt your growth a little bit when they say, hey, Garrett, we need you to move to this because you're valuable to us. We need you here instead of your best. But you want to be a team player. What was that like for you? What's that like for these guys trying to learn all these positions on the O-line?
It's definitely a double-edged sword because, you know, the more time you get to spend at one thing, the more you can perfect it and all that stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you can do for the team. And football is the biggest team game out there. And for you to be able to do whatever they ask you when your number's called upon to help benefit the team, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. And it was very rewarding having the faith from my coaches to be like, hey, we can put that guy at right tackle, left guard, wherever they wanted to put me, and knowing that I was going to get the job done. And it's definitely hard. It's definitely very challenging. But at the end of the day, it makes you, in my opinion, a better football player, and it just increases your football IQ. Because if I'm at left guard and I know what that left tackle's dealing with, I know how to help him out, or vice versa, or helping the center or being the center. Like, hey, guys, we need to do this because they're doing this. And it helps you better achieve the end goal of whatever offensive scheme you're running. So definitely a double-edged sword. Everybody can't do it. It's very hard, but if you're able to, it's very rewarding and very beneficial to the team.
Well, Garrett, one guy that has his spot and has stayed there is Deontay Smith at left tackle.
Indeed.
We have not been able to get out to practice. Like we've been doing Zooms with the coaches and haven't talked to any players. From what I understand, Deontay's had to miss some time this offseason and has trimmed down. His listed weight right now is at 274, standing at 6'4". Yeah. And that was kind of an eye opener when we saw the depth chart. But Deontay's played a lot of football here. He is a guy I think you can trust at that tackle position. What do you remember about him, and what kind of player is Deontay Smith?
Well, Deontay Smith's my dude, man. I've kept in touch with him even after I left ECU, and he's just a guy who, when it clicked for him, it clicked, and there was no looking back. He's one of those guys. He's got great feet. He's gotten so much stronger too since he's gotten to East Carolina. It's amazing to watch. And he did the things he needed to do to be successful. Came in a little heavy, dropped some weight, and now, I mean, after watching last year's film, I think he has grown leaps and bounds. And I'm excited to watch him this year. I mean, he's definitely the anchor of that offensive line. He's got the most snaps out of anybody on that team, and he's a guy that you can trust. He's very dependable, and he's also very smart. Is one of the things later on in my career, like I said, when it clicked for him, he was able to. We would watch film together as tackles, and I would ask him, "Hey, what are you looking for right here?" and stuff like that, just to kind of teach him some of the ropes and stuff like that. And he would be able to fire off tricks and trays, and I'd be like, "All right, now it's starting to click for you." And I'm excited to watch him this year.
I like Deontay, very polite young man too in my interactions with him. So enjoyed talking with him. Sean Bailey, kind of going down the Garrett McGhin path, I believe was brought in as a tackle, got him listed as the starting left guard. He's kind of been shifted around a little bit, but he's been in the program for a while, Garrett.
Yeah, just can't say enough great things about Sean. I mean, he's works really hard. He's very strong, and he's one of those guys that I remember while I was there, he just wanted to get better at one thing every single day. He was always asking me questions. Hey, Garrett, what can I do better on this? What can I do better on that? And he's a guy who loves the game of football, just absolutely eats, sleeps, breathes the game of football. And he loves ECU. He loves Pirate Nation. He wants to be successful. He wants to get that team back to the standard that it needs to be at. So I'm excited to watch him take that next step from last year's season. I think he's got a bunch of upside, and I'm ready to watch him just let it all go. You know, let those hands fly, move those feet, and just play with confidence is his biggest thing. And I've told him, especially since I've left, I'm like, dude, you can play this game. You got all the tools. Just go let it fly. And that's one of the things is, not only as an offensive lineman, but as a football player in general, I know especially for like the defensive back position, you got to have a short memory. Like if you get beat one play, you can't stack those plays over and over again. And I've always been taught confidence is earned. So I think he's earning that confidence, and he's had some success. So now it's just time to let it fly. And once again, I can't wait to watch him play as well.
Great scouting reports from Garrett McGhin. Let me ask you about a few more guys on offense. Holton Ahlers, what was it like as a leader, Garrett, a senior leader, and you see this freshman come in, and you don't want to just kind of hand over the locker room to anybody, right, especially a hotshot freshman. But when you see his maturity and the way he works and everything, how long did it take you to realize, okay, this kid might be the real deal?
Well, one thing that really jumped out at me, or my first impressions of him, was he's got a beautiful throwing motion. For some reason, that left-handed ball just comes out really nice. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what this kid can really do. He's got a bunch of hype. Let's see what he can do. And when he came in, you come in and you're doing workouts and all that stuff first. And I would look, stand in the background and kind of view things. And I just noticed he worked really hard. Like, the kid works really hard. The kid loves football. And the biggest thing that I saw from him was he didn't come in like he knew everything. He didn't come in like, hey, this is my team. He kind of sat back, was like, asked a bunch of questions. And there was a learning curve. I mean, I think there's a learning curve for everybody when they come to the Division I level. It just depends on how drastic. And he still had a learning curve. He still made some mistakes, but had to work through those things. And it was one thing to see a guy with that much hype come in and still be, all right, I don't know everything. I need to work to get better and all this stuff like that. And then when he did have the opportunity, it was like, okay, let's go, kids. It's time for you to go. Let's ride. So.
How about Darius Penix, Garrett? Can he have a strong season this year coming back? He came back from injury last year, had a big game against UConn, starts at the top of the depth chart. What about Darius?
I'm ready to see that kid just go straight beast mode, Marshawn Lynch on those people, man. I watched him do some things in practice early in his career. Just he's not scared of contact. And as an offensive lineman, you love that. You love blocking for a guy that is going to break those arm tackles, run between the tackles, and just get those dirty yards. And that's one thing. I mean, when I was with the Bills and I look back and I'm blocking for Frank Gore, and I'm like, I've seen Darius Penix do some stuff like that. So I just want to see him turn it on and just unleash it and be a leader on that offense and have that voice of like, hey, if things aren't going well, you can depend on me to get these dirty yards that we needed. And that's one thing that I'm very excited for him. And once again, just another hard worker as well. And kept up with his story. I know he's been through some stuff. I know he's lost a loved one as well. So my heart goes out to him, but I'm ready to see him play with that passion and just do what he does and play his game.
And finally, Garrett, I remember the game when Tyler Snead made his first catch, and I looked down, and he wasn't on the roster that we were given at Dowdy Ficklen Stadium, and I didn't know who the guy was. Where the hell did he come from? And he's had a million catches since you left Greenville. It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I love T. Snead, man. That's my dude. I can't say enough great things about him as a person. He is just such a great person. Comes from a great home. Had the ability to get to know his family as well. And he just comes from a great home. And he's like I said before. I feel like I've said this about everybody, but he works really hard and competes. And that's the thing about him is doesn't matter if he was fifth string or starter. Like, he took every single day. Like, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you, but I'm going to do it quietly. I'm just going to go about my business. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to work. And it's so great to see him reap the benefits of his hard work. And it's like the ECU version of Renfro. I think that kid is a stud. I think he can ball, and I'm so excited to just cheer all those boys on, him especially, and just watch them thrive. I mean, they deserve it so much. All those players have been through so much stuff. And I'm just so ready to see ECU get back to what it needs to be.
Absolutely, Garrett. And we're hoping they can get there. And great scouting reports, by the way. Did you ever look at the Vegas lines, the odds before a game? Did you know what the point spread was?
No, I never. I mean, I would see the spread of like, oh, ECU's not favored or they're favored, blah, blah, blah. And I just would be like, okay, are they watching the same film we are? Or sometimes it would be like, all right, that sounds about right. We're a good offense or they're a good defense or whatever. But I think I based a lot of my feelings pregame towards that week of preparation.
Yeah.
If I knew that we put in the work and I was like, hey, there were some things that we did good in those team periods, or there were some things that we didn't do good, I'd be like, all right, well, I hope we focus on this or that. But then a lot of stuff, really, I just matched personnel. Like, if I watched film and I knew the guy I was going against, I was like, all right, I know what I got. And I was very particular about that stuff, what each player was good at and stuff like that. And like you said, a guy like me who played the entire offensive line, I was looking at the nose, the end, the outside line. I was looking at everybody, seeing like, all right, how do these guys match up against our personnel? And that's what I based everything off of, really.
I bring that up because UCF, pretty big favorite against the Pirates this week. They looked good against Georgia Tech last week, but You know a lot of Florida boys. How do we beat those Florida boys coming up on Saturday?
Got to be disciplined. Got to be very disciplined. Stick to the game plan. Be very methodical in what you're doing, and you got to keep that quarterback off the field. I mean, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
The quarterback number 11, I believe his name's Gabriel. He's a player. He's a stud. I mean, he can sling it, and we know all about UCF. They got some playmakers, and got to give respect where credit is due. And I think if we go out there and protect the football, protect the ball carriers, and establish the line of scrimmage. I mean, you win in the trenches. I think if we can do that, we'll be in the game with them, and I think we have a chance to pull it out. But you got to play discipline. You got to protect the ball, and you got to play fast. In my opinion, you got to keep the defense on their toes, keep them guessing, and have them moving around and questioning what their responsibility is.
Well, Garrett, we went a little long because anytime you talk to Garrett McGhin, go ahead and carve out a good 20 minutes, right? There's a lot of talking going on.
Yeah, blabbermouth gets to going.
Garrett, if it's not NFL, is it XFL, Canadian Football League? Would you kind of branch out to that? Are you going to go into the real world? What's next for GMAC?
Well, if it's not NFL, it's definitely going to be something football related, whether it's CFL or something. I mean, I don't think I'm done playing this game yet. Kind of want to leave the game on my own terms, but I'm grateful for every day I get to say that this is my profession or this is what I want to do. But I don't think I'm ready to go work a 9 to 5 yet or sit behind the desk or anything like that. So I'm gonna keep doing this for as long as the good Lord wants me to do this. And then when He says it's done, I'm gonna move on to the next phase of my life. But at the end of the day, I'm always gonna bleed purple and gold. Believe that.
Yes, sir. And looks like you got a good hair situation still going on, I see, right? Oh yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I also added a little addition to the tattoos of what ECU.
Okay.
I had to throw that back.
Oh wow. Check that out.
Yep.
That is sweet.
Sure.
Good deal. All right, man. Well, good stuff. Garrett, you're the man. Always appreciate it. We'll do it again down the road, bud.
Yes, sir, Cliff. Thank you for having me on. And Dan, you look good with that mustache, baby.
Garrett McGhin, such a charmer. In the Zoom room, brought to you by Sailor Warehouse and White Claw Hard Seltzer. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.